Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Signature Morning on Signature Television. But if you've been with us, well, welcome back. Of course, you've been enjoying all the conversations we've been having. Well, we're moving over to another interesting discussion this morning. And it will interest you. We want to talk about the impact of inflation, of malnutrition. Of course, everybody eats. Everybody loves food. I want to believe so, but I know I do. And then we'll have a guest in the studio to do this, to do justice to this conversation, Mrs. Chizoba
Okwu-Nweke.
Thank you. Forgive my pronunciation. I said I was going to marry an Igbo woman so that they will teach me how to, say all of this.
Don't worry. Just come over to my side.
Oh.
It's very cheap.
Where's the side? Wait, tell me.
Precisely, yes. Very cheap.
You're my sister.
Yeah.
After this, we'll have a
I
conversation.
am telling you, I will help you with little amount of money. Off you go. Off you go.
You just became my best friend.
Okay, please, this arranged marriage, let's move ahead to what we have this
Now,
morning.
let's talk about malnutrition. Please give us an overview, because this is Nigeria. A lot of people eat different kind of food, different places, without even proper cleaning it or anything. So just give us your own overview.
Thank you very much. When you talk about malnutrition, what comes to our mind is unhealthy, somebody that is not healthy, and actually that is what it is. Malnutrition has two phases. You have the overnutrition and the undernutrition. But recently, what we have more around is undernutrition. And when you talk about undernutrition, it has to do with wasting, stunted, underweight, and lack of some vitamins in the body, micronutrients in the body, or when you lack the necessary nutrients in the body, or when the body cannot absorb the nutrient. Sometimes people can eat, but because of the illness they have, their body might not be able to absorb the nutrients. So it can lead to malnutrition. And then sometimes when you don't have enough in the body, it brings in malnutrition. And that, when you don't have enough, most times we'll classify them under nutrition. In excess, the overweight, the obesity, they are all classified under that.
Do we still have obese people right now?
Yes, we still do, but the way Nigeria is moving now, I think we don't really have option now that to start
slim down.
Yes, the way Nigeria is going,
So
everybody is trimming down.
I was coming to that to ask, in what ways do you think inflation influences the affordability of essential vitamins? Because we had a guest on this particular morning show. She was lamenting that she now resorts to drinking of Gary almost every time, and even the Gary is becoming too much of expensive, so she couldn't even afford it, and she has a baby. So I'm wondering, what impact do you think this inflation has on the nutrition of people?
When you talk about inflation, what comes to your mind is hardship. Let's be realistic.
Yes.
Once you talk about inflation, everybody thinks about hardship. Things are getting harder, and that is what it is. The rate at which the prices are increasing is very alarming, very, very alarming. It affects it in so many ways. Number one, it brings down the purchasing power for the so-called comfortable ones. Even the purchasing power is at stake, because you go to the market with 100,000. You come in as if you went to the market with 10,000 of those days. So it's really affecting them. Then you come down to the middle class and the lower. That's where it is hitting very hard. How does it affect it when it comes to that level? The prices are increasing. You go today, you buy something 10 naira, you are coming back tomorrow, it is 11 naira. In fact, in the market, they will tell you, hold on, let me call the next place, maybe where they get their supplies, and they call and tell you, now, it's no longer 10, it's 11. So, and because of that, people who do not have enough cannot buy enough food. And when you don't have enough to eat, automatically your body works with the one they have and starts starving. It starts going down. It affects it that when you are down, when you are sick, they don't even have the money to pay for hospital bills. I keep wondering what those that own hospital, what they face, because people will be running away. After treatment, it gets to a certain point, they think the child is a bit okay. The person disappears. You understand? It is hardship that is causing that. Is that inflation on the prices of things, on the foods and services that is causing this malnutrition. If before, like in Nigeria today, according to UNICEF, about 32% of people who have malnutrition will have 32% are malnourished. Then when you come down to under 5, about 2 million people, 2 million children are malnourished. So you see that things are getting harder. People are not eating well. Initially, people eat 4 or 5 eggs thinking that they are rich or something like that. They are comfortable. Meanwhile, that one is nutritional deficit, knowledge deficit. You know, they don't understand. But now, eating that is not even accessible again. People can't even access good food to eat. Initially, when you go to some markets, you see people picking some foodstuffs like that. You don't. Anybody you come around their shop, they will not be chasing you because anyone that drops on the floor, they want to pick it up. Things are getting to it. Even the staple food. When we were younger, they used to tell you that staple food is cheap. You know, you buy yam, you buy gari and stuff. Then what they teach is eat balanced diet. They are teaching you to buy the other ones to add and get your food balanced. But now, I don't really know what we are going to be talking about. Are we still going to be talking about balanced meal? Are we still going, or do we go back to just eat something and be alive? So inflation is really affecting everybody, and that's the major root of malnutrition.
When you were speaking, you mentioned few implications of this malnutrition rate. What are all the implications of this malnutrition rate?
You know that for a pregnant woman, if she doesn't eat well, the child in the fetus will not develop well. The born ones, the ones that are already born, if you don't give them good food, they will not grow well. That's when we talk about stunted. Low weight for age, low height for age. You see a child that is supposed to be like 70 cm, the child is 50 cm. It's lack of good nutrients that they are supposed to eat. And again, for the new ones, 0 to 1 year, they are supposed to be, those are supposed to be on exclusive breastfeeding. We don't do that. But I believe that the rate of inflation might force a lot of mothers back to exclusive breastfeeding because that's the only option for 0 to 6 months. You know, then after 6, 7 to the other one, you continue breastfeeding and other food nutrients. So that aspect is a bit safe for those that are doing exclusive. But apart from that, other children that don't eat well, you see some severe acute malnutrition. Now, these days, you begin to see what we call marasmus. You see kwashiorkor in the hospital. Because I remember some years back, students will come in and be begging you, please, if you see, they want to see a patient, the kwashiorkor patient, you know, and you will not be telling them, how do I bring it now? If we see, we show you. You see that a year will come, you won't see a kwashiorkor patient or marasmus. But these days, virtually every week, we are seeing such in the hospital. It means that it is increasing day by day. And a child that has that might have problem in brain development. It affects cognitive functions. And if it does that, you know, imagine the person that is supposed to be tomorrow's leader, how do they say, future leader, that the brain is impaired. It affects it. Sometimes, even generally, the child will not grow well.
Okay, so inflation is going high, and with the way things are in Nigeria, it feels as though it's still going to increase. What strategy can people put in place to help and manage the situation?
Okay. I keep saying doing the right thing at the right time. My people will always say that you face any challenge that comes to you squarely, you know. For me, I think we should go back to agriculture, farming, no matter how small. The price of vegetable, I don't know whether you've checked it recently, pumpkin, ugu.
Yes,
The 200 naira worth of ugu will not be enough. They don't sell 100 naira again.
400 naira.
400 naira. Before, you will use it to buy a big bundle of it that you use for a whole family. But today, it's just little that you can count. So, if we're able to go back to farming, even if it is small garden in the bags, those ones they have in the bags, yes, no matter how small, we need to start cultivating, making sure that we have at least vegetables around the house. That one will help us to be sure that on daily basis we have vitamins and minerals. That helps the body. Very important. You understand? Because sometimes people buy the staple foods, find it difficult buying the other ones because the main thing is let us be full. But if you have it around your house, the pepper, the scent leaf, all those leafy vegetables around, curry and stuff like that, if you have it, at least you are sure you are getting something from the vegetable. Then if you have a bigger space, you can now go into maybe cassava or whatever. You are sure that at every point there is something to eat.
For
That's the
people
thing.
who are living in urban areas, who don't have spaces around them, for them to cultivate this agricultural produce, what advice would you give them? Because for a tenant who doesn't have the house and who doesn't have a garden, how would the person survive?
The bag farming. I went to somebody's house. She lives in a flat, 2-bedroom flat. I went there and I saw the bags. I was now asking her. She's a single girl, not married. I was now asking her why. She said that she can't afford to be buying the vegetables at the rate she will want to be eating it. So she has it around her corner.
Bags.
In bags.
Okay.
The farming in bags. So she had like ugu in one, she had scent leaf, and then the curry in the other one. You understand? So she has it around her balcony. That's the thing. So there is no way we can do that. We must find a way of having our own, because for a civil servant, your money is stagnant. It's not increasing at your pace. But for a business person, you can decide once the product is increasing, the price from the supplier is increasing, you are adding your own. But a civil servant, you can't do that. So the option you have is to be wise, use your brain and say, let us do this. Because now, these days, people do 101, some do 011, it's getting increased. Before, when you do it, people laugh at you, but these days it's like normal.
I was coming to that. For people who do 001, they do 001 and then they eat. What kind of food would you recommend for somebody who eats 001 and then now comes to want to eat like 4 wraps of fufu?
At once.
At once. Because again, in as much as we're saying
day.
that inflation is a problem, malnutrition can be a problem as well.
Of course.
So what kind of food would you recommend for somebody who has said, okay, fine, probably because of
because of the inflation.
Yes, the condition.
You see, it depends on what the person is doing. For somebody that is into hard labor, you can't tell the person to reduce the quantity because he needs energy, extra energy to do those hard labor. A truck pusher can't drink tea. It will take him nowhere.
Yeah, actually.
So he needs that big quantity to eat. But for a sedentary worker, you can go with a wrap of moi moi, cucumber, and go. You can decide to take a cup of tea, 4 slices of bread, and vegetable or egg. You are done for the morning, then you move. But for somebody, so it depends on your nutritional status at that moment. Some people, if the person is obese, you can tell the person you eat 110. In the night, you take vegetables. Don't eat this.
Yeah, obese
so
you can still have 110.
Yes, you can. So that you don't eat heavy in the night. In the night, they take vegetables. Then morning and this other one, they can take portioned food. You understand? So quantity of food or the type of food you eat depends on your nutritional status and the kind of job you do. Because if I tell you to eat fufu in the morning, definitely you'll be sleeping. You're feeling tired this morning, Yes,
So our reporters that went out in the streets to interview people, they came back to say that many people out there, they are asking the government to bring them palliative. In fact, when you want to interview somebody, they will tell you, are you sharing us money? Do you come to share us money? And all of that. But I'm wondering, is it palliative that we need right now, to curb this inflation and, of course, the impact on malnutrition? Or is there another thing the government has to do, to curb the situation?
For me, I don't think palliative is the best option. I don't think it's the best option. If you can afford to pay rent in town, palliative is not the problem, because the palliative is just like what they call it. To quote it, you think things are better, but they are not. If they give them, it's okay. But for me, I think they should give us a long time or short time some project that will assist us. Either create factories that will be making rice, all this industry rice, and bring down the price of the rice. It will be better for us than giving us 10 cups. And remember that this palliative does get to the people that is being recommended, that needs it. I remember the one they said they brought palliatives and stuff like that. So I know somebody that went for it. She called me that she come and help her and carry her. I said, okay, don't worry. I'll be passing through that place to carry you. So when I saw her, I didn't see her with anything. I was not saying, where is the rice now? She said it's inside her bag. That small 25 kg, they told 7 people to share it. So if you check very well, the owner of the party have taken it. These other ones are just the people that came to showcase so that they will snap them and you. So why do that? Instead of bringing it and giving to the rich, why don't you leave it and make the prices of items to be cheaper? It's better for us that the prices of yam, it moves down from 4,000 to 2,005 than giving us yam that you know that the yam will not get to us. How many people in the village got that palliative? It doesn't really get to the people that requires it. They can go to the hospital and decide to subsidize certain things. If you go to the hospital, like where I work, you see doctors contributing money. You see dietitians contributing money. Nurses, all the healthcare providers contributing money, because when they bring the indigent, they cannot pay. You are the one talking about food. You see that this woman cannot buy pap 100 naira. I am telling you as at this morning, they cannot buy pap 100 naira. So you are the one bringing it. The doctor is paying for the blood. This nurses is buying food for the mother herself, not even just for the child. You see that there are things we need. Go to the hospital and subsidize a lot for us. Go to school and subsidize. If you can give us exercise books. Let the mother go and fend for food. Those things that will help the children. From that angle, assist us. Then the money the women have, they can use it for food. Not when you give us 5 cups of rice, you announce that they have given us a bag of rice. Where will they come out to counter that announcement that they did not get anything? You understand?
Exactly.
Sometimes once you bring camera, they want to say something that will please the government. I don't want to get into trouble. You see, very few will come out to say, they brought 5 bags and they gave us 1 bag. Very few will want to say it. Ordinarily, most people will not say, I don't want to get into trouble. Government, please go, I don't want. You understand? So let them go to other areas and do it. Like I heard that in this state, they gave them organic fertilizer, give some communities, tractors. I think that's the kind of thing we need. If every community should bring out a land where they can be cultivating to make sure that things are subsidized, the prices, I think it will be better for us.
Talking about cultivating,
Yes.
There are reports from the villages, from the rural areas where the people were, lamenting of insecurity in terms of Fulani herdsmen destroying farmlands and all of that, and it's distorting, the growth of agricultural produce. So what do you think government should do in this case? Because it still boils down to inflation, it still boils down to malnutrition.
Yes. Number one, the community itself should be their own police. If you don't monitor your home, outsider can never tell you what is going inside. You are the one that should be able to start screaming, this is what is going on, that these people are in our farms. Then we get to that point and it will start screaming, and government should come in. If they don't come in, the whole world will know that we said, but they did not assist us. Because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Even in the southeast, you see people having issues regarding to this insecurity. But definitely, we will still be doing something. We can't cross our hands and say, because of insecurity, we will not do something. In our communities, sometimes where our farms are far. Some have very ones closer to them. So you can be utilizing the one closer, and then the ones very far. Your community should be able to start off something. There are communities I know that on their own, they started policing their area. So once anything happens, they call the police. If the police does not respond, they start calling their people outside and they'll start calling the commissioner of police. We know that the police can disappoint you at any time, but at least make an attempt to do something.
So what do you think about private sectors and NGOs? How can they help in times like this?
Okay. I think it's a direct access to the people you want to help. The NGOs should go directly to the people they want to assist. If you want to assist children under 5, anything you bring, you take it directly to them. You know our community heads, they are hungry. Everywhere people are hungry. And most times they tend to do the wrong thing. at the right time. So if the NGOs are ready or they are willing to help, they should go directly to the people that requires it and give it to them, not giving people to give and give. You understand? Because I know there are some foundations and NGO, once they bring something, they go straight to the community. Even sometimes when you give it to the community heads, they keep some and bring out some. So what they actually do is they come in, call the whole children out. Even if they are 20, if they are 100, no matter the amount, they give it directly to them, take it to your house. Some come in, they share school bags like August, September, towards that time. They go in, share school bags. Sometimes they share shoes and other foodstuffs, and then you take it back to your home. At least they eat. Then private sector that still wants to do the same, I believe they should follow the same way, not the issue of giving to give. That one, most times it doesn't work.
Right.
When I was younger, even the food taken to motherless home, there are stories around it, until people started complaining and stuff like that.
So finally, before I let you go, we want to know, how can people who are facing malnutrition, how do you think they should cope? What coping mechanisms are you preferring today?
Okay, let me start by, if you can still afford food, please try and make the food balanced. Balancing your meal is not expensive. Just ensure that the important nutrients are in that food. For instance, let me use fufu and soup. You want to eat egusi soup. Ensure that you add everything that is required. Egusi is a plant protein. The crayfish is an animal protein. So we are there for protein. Then there is oil in it. We have gotten oil, fats and oil. There is onions, there is pepper, and there is vegetables. So we've gotten vitamins and minerals in it. You understand? And then they swallow by the side. So at least we've gotten something that is a bit balanced. Then you see that the same applies to rice. The same applies to every other staple food. You ensure that you make it balanced in your own way. You mustn't go for the very expensive ones. If you have a small child, instead of buying the milk, you can go for soybean. It will help and do it, because as at the time that you are beginning to give the soybean, the child is still on breast milk. So the breast milk will be supplementing, and then you are using this one to help the baby grow at that point. Same applies to adults, pregnant women, and so forth.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Chizoba Okwu-Nweke, the dietitian and nutritionist, University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, UNTHE to Kwazala, Enugu. Thank you for your time, and of course the immeasurable
Thank you for having
information you've given us this morning. Okay, and that's all we can take for this morning. Sure, it's been a beautiful morning out there. I must tell you, we've been having interesting discussions about different things, and right now we're heading to Abuja, our station in Abuja, to continue the morning show, the signature morning show. You don't want to miss out on anything or any of the packages we have lined up for your pleasure this morning. I've been Belinda Nwobodo.
And I'm still Joshua Ritogo, and this is me saying goodbye. Don't forget, of course, to go to all of our social media platforms to engage on all our posts. On YouTube, turn on the notifications so that you get latest information on videos when they drop.